Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Why do I have Magneto here in the background? Because he's the best character that I could use to share some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today. You might have remembered that on Saturday that I did a video regarding Onslaught and the very high possibility of him coming to the game. In the second half of that video, we also talked about Havoc and the potential of a Brotherhood rework. Well, in today's video, we're going to be talking about Onslaught's kit. And within Onslaught's kit, it does reveal some interesting information about some upcoming, what seems like changes, reworks, and a brand new team tag that's going to be within his kit as well. Now, before we get there, though, I do want to mention that still, there's about 50% of you out there that have not subscribed to the Boilon channel. So if you want to help me out, please click that button down below, or all the buttons, the likes, subscribes, and ring that notification bell before we actually get started. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. And please do, hit that subscribe button. It really would help me out a lot, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that still have not done so. So let's zoom in a little bit. I think that's maybe a bit too far. There we go. So this is Onslaught. And what I'm going to say is this is probably a bit of an early version of the kit. And so take this with a grain of salt that, things have changed. I also want to say, actually, it hasn't been mentioned yet, but P.S., the null kit apparently has also changed a little bit, even though we haven't gotten to the game. Maybe they'll actually, bring out the V2 of that kit at some point as well. So Onslaught, right? So what's happening to Onslaught? Well, here, I was looking through his kit, and it seems a bit toned down compared to some of the other characters. So I had previously said that he's going to be a Dark Dimension 9 character, and I think it's going to be a little bit interesting to see exactly what, how he ends up coming out, because I don't have official confirmation he's DD9, but I do believe that we are getting a DD9 before Xavier. So Onslaught's basic, Malevolence. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 300% damage. If this character's health is 50% or more, apply offense down for 2 turns to each target. If this character is below 50% health, this attack gains 50% drain. So he's going to swipe, right? And if he has low health, he's going to heal up a lot. And otherwise, if he doesn't, then he's going to be applying offense down to every target. It's pretty big. I mean, compared to like Kahori's basic, this is really basic, honestly. And so I don't know, this this almost sounds like a regular character at this point, but let's go on anyways. So special dark entity. Spread all negative effects, excluding stun, from the primary target to all adjacent enemies. So, Venom ultimate, that kind of thing, spreading debuffs. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 400% damage, plus apply disrupted and defense down for 2 turns. Apply 2 counter to self and all Dark Descendant allies. This is really important, and we're going to take a look after we finish the kit. Dark Descendants is a very important call out here, and it sounds like it's going to be it is a brand new team tag, right? We don't have it in the game. So we're going to talk about in the second half of the video about what that might be. Apply offense up for 2 turns to self and adjacent mutant allies. That's interesting, right? So mutant callouts, Dark Descendant callouts. Ultimate, Psionic Slaughter. Clear all barrier from all targets. So another call out to kill Null's barrier, maybe? Barrier self, all Dark Descendants, and all villain allies for 50% of this character's max health. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think Barrier has a cap of 30% of that character's HP. Some characters are a little bit different, I guess. Some have 40. Depends on if you have the Protector ISO on and stuff like that. So I think for the most part, this is probably going to be like a full barrier, essentially, though, for most characters. Attack all enemies for 450% damage, plus apply offense down for 2 turns. Apply offense up and defense up to self, and all Dark Descendant and all villain allies. I think, I think that actually is supposed to be 2 turns. I think I copied that down wrong, but there you go. I think it's 2 turns, I'm pretty sure. In Battle World, apply stun. This is interesting, right? Sorry, I glossed over that. In Battle World, right? So this part's interesting, because why do we need another Battle World character? We're a Battle World call out. Like, what is this intended for? That's a really good question, and I can't answer that, right? I'm not here to tell you that kind of thing. But if you look at it, it says in Battle World, apply stun to the enemy with the highest damage, ignoring taunt and stealth. What does that even mean? You can't even stun Null for first of all. And where I mean, Onslaught's a mutant character, right? But there's no way you need him for like standard combat missions. So, like, where are you using this? Is this is this something from the future in like April when we're going into Battle World 2? And maybe you can stun the boss? And that brings a whole nother load of questions because then you could just chain stun somebody, right? You could stand debuffs. You could change. You could prolong stun in some instances with certain characters. So I'm highly skeptical, and I don't. Again, I can't tell you what this is for. I'm just telling you what this is gonna do. Generate 3 ability energy for self and all Dark Descendant allies. Again in Battle World. This attack gains 200% extra focus per Dark Descendant ally. So that's interesting there. His passive has a big charge mechanic. So Unchained, on spawn gain 3 charged. When a Brotherhood or Dark Descendant ally uses an ultimate ability, gain +1 charged. This is interesting because Shadow King had this sort of thing, like when using ultimate ability, something happens basically. Although this is a bit toned down. On any turn, if this character has 5 or more charged, attack all enemies for 300% damage. So I guess he's gonna I don't know, absorb energy off your ultimates and then eventually do a big attack that does a lot of damage. 300% seems a little bit low. Maybe it's actually a little bit higher. Also, if it's only +1 charge per ultimate, I don't know how many times he's actually going to be getting that, unless it's maybe I don't know, over a long period of time, like a long boss battle in Battle World. But again, I'm not really seeing the kit too much. It's kind of weird. Fill speed bar for self and all Dark Descendants and Brotherhood allies by 50%. That's again when he gets the 5 charges and he explodes or whatever he's doing, and then he loses all his charges. Lower the accuracy of enemies with blind by an additional 100%. Again, bizarre callout because he does not have blind in his kit. So is he just a standard character on this Dark Descendants team? Maybe, but why am I hearing about this now, when I think this is like months in advance? I don't know. The speed of this character and each Dark Descendants and Brotherhood ally. So I didn't mention it in the first bit, but yeah, there's Brotherhood callouts, Dark Descendant callouts, and Mutant callouts. The speed can only be reduced by slow. There we go. Gain 50% damage, 50% max health, and Dark Descendant allies gain 50%. So this is the kind of stuff that I would see on a character on that team. Is Onslaught the leader of the Dark Descendants? Is he just a standard character? Maybe, but that would be super disappointing if that's the case, honestly, because I think that he deserves better. And he's, honestly, the type of character that probably could be a Dark Dimension character. And now, seeing the kit, I'm not entirely sure, but without a doubt, Onslaught is coming to the game. And then in Battle World, gain an additional 50% damage, and Dark Descendant allies gain. So that's a grand total of 100% damage and max just damage. I guess it's not the max health, it's just damage. 100% damage in Battle World, which is a doubling, right? That's a lot. And then in Battle World, on turn, heal self and all Brotherhood allies for 20% of this character's max health. This character and all Brotherhood allies speed bar cannot be reduced until this character takes a turn. Again, what kind of callout is this for? I don't know what this is designed for. I'm very confused, I'll be honest. Because none of this stuff is related to Null as far as I'm aware. I don't think Null, lowers speed bar, and what's with the blind, and there's a lot of things in this kit, like with the ultimate here. There is clear all barrier, but the rest of this stuff, you can't even stun Null. So I don't understand. I'll be honest. I'm just reporting. I'm not. I'm probably just as confused as you are by looking at this. But what we do know for sure is that there are callouts to Dark Descendants, and that's what I want to talk about here in the second half of the video. It's funny because we glossed over it a little bit when we were looking at the Havoc Brotherhood, and I did another Google search. It really just brought me up to this again. So this page here, I think it was uncannyxmen.net. So when Onslaught's thralls were joined by the Dark Beast and his minions, they became a combined group known as the Dark Descendants. They're active throughout the Onslaught crossover, and the remnants of the team formed the nucleus of Havoc's Brotherhood post Onslaught. The group was referred to as Dark Attendants in Uncanny X-Men 335, which included Dark Beast, Fatal, Havoc, Holocaust, which I believe is Nemesis, and these other characters here. So again, we talked about this page here on the last video on Saturday, and it seems like it's an alias is Dark Descendants, right? And that's where we talked about it. So It seems like that's what's happening, right? And we also talked about the possibility of Dark Beast getting a rework. Maybe, right? Maybe it's not Magneto. Maybe Onslaught's just a regular character on this team. It would be absolutely wild, though. But normally there is 2 reworks and 3 new characters. So if Onslaught is just a standard character, then it's probably going to be Havoc. It's probably going to be Onslaught. Probably going to be a rework to Dark Beast. Maybe there's a rework to Magneto on the cover as well, and then one newer character. That's probably not going to be on this team from the wiki, right? Because if we know what happens with Marvel Strike Force and what they do, they tend to take some related characters and then some not related characters. Hell, some of the the reworks might not even be Magneto. It might be like some other villain mutant that maybe it's Nemesis. Actually, that would make more sense. It's probably Nemesis and Dark Beast rather than Magneto. And this is probably going to be the mutant raid team. So, you know what? Maybe Onslaught is just a standard character after all, because that kit, honestly, I gotta say, doesn't scream like a Dark Dimension character. So, when I heard, I still had heard that Dark Dimension 9 is not going to be Xavier. I did think, though, that, this was going to be something that we would have. I thought Onslaught would be a for sure, lock in for Dark Dimension, but maybe it's not. And maybe this is just going to be a character on a team. A little bit disappointing if you ask me, but hey, there's some information. Like I said, I'm gonna say that this is subject to change, and at least the things like the damage numbers, things like that. Usually the mechanics are fairly accurate, but I do want to say that not everything is going to be. It's probably 90% correct, but it's there's some stuff that's probably going to change before this ends up happening. Also, this is very early information, which means that probably this is not going to happen until like February. And having this information also is a little bit surprising to me. I got to be honest, because normally I report a month in advance or so. This might be like 2 or 3 months in advance. So interesting stuff. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Onslaught's coming to the game, that's for certain. Who else is coming alongside him? I'm still wagering that it's going to be Havoc, and what the other characters are. I don't have a Boilon guarantee yet at this point. However, nonetheless, looks like something's happening. So that's the end of this video, everyone. Let me know what your thoughts are about Havoc Brotherhood, Dark Descendants. I don't know what's going on here, but Onslaught's coming. That's the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Boilon signing out.